Okay, so anybody want to recap sort of where we left off last week and what we were doing?
Killed a bunch of bad guys on
Okay.
our way to Neverwinter.
Cleaned up the entire area around Neverwinter. I think we're celebrated as some of the most efficient law bringers in the area at this point.
Yeah. You walk in the gates and they laugh at you.
Come on.
At us or with us?
We have a handful of goblin and orc ears.
Yeah. And there's a list of like the most skilled goblin and orc hunters on the wall, and their ear count is in the upper hundreds.
But we're there now, like on the bottom.
You're not even close. You're in the ledger book that the guy has, but you're not close enough to getting on the board. You need a few hundred more.
Damn it.
So they're like, congratulations on surviving your trip from whatever little bumfuck town you came from. Little girl, now get out of here. They can tell he's a girl. This is not a backward area. This is Neverwinter. They understand a little bit more here what's going on in the world.
Bastards.
Okay, so what else happened? Or why are we going to Neverwinter? Like, what's happening?
Several reasons. I mean, we're trying to figure out what happened to Gunthar, and we're eventually going to Thunder Tree.
Okay.
Oh.
There.
And Big D needs to get a sword made.
Yep.
Did you just call me Big D?
Sure
Oh,
did.
yeah, Glass is in Thunder Tree too.
Okay. So I just wanted to, sort of out of going back to what we had sort of discussed last week, tell you a little bit more about Neverwinter. And I looked it up a little bit. I just have to find my bookmark now. I don't know where my bookmarks went. But you were asking about the size.
Right.
And part of it is it's about 23,000. So it's called the Jewel of the North.
Oh.
Or it was called the Jewel of the North. Now it's a little, it's not as it used to be, but it's not terrible. All right, here we go. So, Neverwinter is a walled city of humans and half-elves. Neverwinter is cultured without being arrogant, bustling without being greedy, and charming without being quaint. The city is best known for the products of its master craftsfolk, lamps of multicolored glass, precision water clocks, and exquisite jewelry. It is also famous for its gardens, which are heated by the supernaturally warm waters of the Neverwinter River. The garden fills the markets with the fruit in the summer and enliven winter with flowers. The city's three architectural marvels are its bridges, the dolphin, the winged wyvern, and the sleeping dragon. Each bridge is intricately carved into a likeness of the creature it is named after. Neverwinter and its ruler, Lord Nasher Alagondar, nearly always side with Waterdeep against Luskan and the orcs.
What was his name again?
Nashur Elagandar.
And who is he?
He's the Lord of Neverwinter.
Lord.
And so, can you guys see the picture now that's up? So this is the view of Neverwinter from the south. You haven't officially reached the gates yet, and you see the pyres of the grand temple to Tyr. However, Dorn, why don't you make a history check? You assume that that is not where you're supposed to go, to the Grand Temple of Tyr in Neverwinter. You assume that in a city of 25,000, that is like being invited to St. Patrick's Cathedral to get baptized. So even though you had such poor roll, you kind of get that, like, you're not just walking in through those doors to be like, yo, boss, where's my sword? So, how do you guys proceed? You are outside the gates. You've made your way from this area on the high road. If you remember, the road kind of curves a little bit into Neverwinter, and so that's kind of where you're overlooking a little bit of the water. And then into the rest of the city, and you can see a couple of the bridges that are part of the major architectural phenomenons of the city.
Dorn, shall we follow you to the temple?
Okay. Do you know where that is? Why doesn't your character roll another history check?
There it is.
Okay, yeah. So you have a general understanding of where to go. Neverwinter has, lower residential areas that have that have these temples in them, but that's not probably where you want to go. You want to go to the district that houses more of the martial aspects and the guilds and stuff like that. You can pretty much head there, or you can ask about it. Okay, so you understand that that temple is like, you wouldn't be let in. Okay, got it. So you're
No,
going.
I might be able to help there.
Okay. You gonna do a history check?
I was gonna do. I don't know. What about my background?
What about your background? Okay.
You're saying your character would know about this, though?
That might be you, because I think everybody else has them still.
Yeah, John's loud and clear over here.
Yeah. Well, Dorn lost you. Did you lose Dorn? Hey, Dorn, it might be you. We'll wait. He froze. Oh, no, you didn't. You were just looking down, huh? Second. Marty. Yeah, they... Can you see him now?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can't hear you, Dorn. How about now?
I see him. I can't hear him.
I can't hear him either.
I see Dorn.
Okay. Everyone
I
can
don't-
see you. We can't hear you. So, John, is it like
I
I'm
don't see-
talking to myself
I don't
again?
see his mouth, lips moving, so I don't know if he can talk.
Well, he was a minute ago. Pay attention, Ramo.
Hey, he's a health.
Checking the settings.
Okay.
I just
All
thought I can.
So, John, what was your, or Ramo, what were you trying to do in the meantime?
Well, I thought if you were implying earlier that we would have some difficulty getting into this grand temple for us to talk some things out, that, you know, my cleric and acolyte background might be able to help.
Nope. Hold on, let me roll the dice for that. Nope.
I feel like you didn't actually roll any dice.
Well, I did. I rolled a lot.
Exactly.
It's funny dice.
All right.
A lot of,
Yeah,
lot of
fine.
dice. The math didn't add up.
So what would we have to, just a little help from the GM here, like what would we have to do to help him get passage? Like is this something that we solve with history or like can we roll for a connection if we know somebody?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, you guys are nothing right now. You guys are a bunch of level 3
Yeah, but I
folks
mean, just in terms of, we would still maybe know somebody in the city, even if we're nobodies.
Right, but like not to get into that temple, and Dorn was about to,
But he's going to the lesser temples, though.
Right?
and that's fine, but that's not what Rama was suggesting.
Can you hear
No,
me
no.
now?
What I was
Okay.
suggesting
Yes.
that
Hey.
we needed to get information from that larger temple. Would I be able to help with my background? But I know that's not our end destination.
Got it. No, not from your background. But like what Dorn was doing was perfectly along the lines of figuring it out.
What is your background again?
I'm a fucking cleric.
Motherfucking cleric.
All right, Dorn. So what's up?
Alright, so I'm going to approach one of the lesser, maybe one of the residential churches in the area to seek out a priest to get information about where, like, I don't know, the military branch of this city would be, or where the order for tier would be located.
Okay. Yeah. So you head in to the south entrance, and once you're inside, you're in one of the lower districts, and you can go into one of the small temples there. It's early morning, so you see a low-level priest lighting candles and waving some incense around, maybe getting ready for a noontime mass.
Okay, then I'll ask him.
How could I help you, fine sir?
I am looking for the temple in which the Knights of the Merciful Sword reside in.
Oh. Well, certainly not here. There's only a bunch of beggars and workers around this part. However, if you head toward the halls of justice, you should find what you're looking for. Would you care to make a tithing here, however, for the assistance that you have been given?
Sure.
Oh,
I will give
how
him.
generous.
I'll just flip him a gold.
God's bless you.
Okay.
So with that, you know enough to get towards the halls of justice. You know it's towards the center of the city, and once you get there, it shouldn't be hard to find the temple that you're looking for.
All right.
So
I'm going to suggest that while I'm going off to pray and to seek guidance from the Knights of the Merciful Sword, other people should be gearing up for the adventure ahead. Maybe find some health potions, some other weaponry, whatever they may need.
And a cart.
Well, unless we plan on pulling our money together, we can't really. I don't think any of us could really afford a cart and a horse.
Would we know how much a horse costs at least?
yeah, it'll take me a minute to find it, but yeah, we can figure that out.
We can certainly inquire, though. So somebody could try tracking that down.
Let's also look into if there's a Lord's Alliance branch out here.
Yeah, there most certainly is.
Yeah.
They would also, you have a feeling they would probably be in the halls of justice as well. A
All right.
hall.
Maybe we could parlay for a horse.
Okay, so what's the plan?
I am gonna head off to the Halls of Justice.
Okay, is anybody going with you, or are you going on your own?
I'm going to head there as well to look for a Lord's Alliance branch.
Okay.
If anyone would like to join me.
I'm looking for a library or somewhere where I can do more research on the Mines of Andalim or whatever, this book that I have in the general area.
I'll join Ramo.
Nice.
So, what about you, Lindahl?
Yeah, it costs us a lunar.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm looking for some good music.
Some musics? All right, so yeah, you can head towards the market district to where the taverns are. Where most of the taverns are. I mean, there are taverns everywhere, but the market district is by far the most fun area, if you will. You know, not necessarily catering to travelers who are staying in one place, but also not it's not. There are inns there, but they're not incredibly. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not like quiet time. You know, it's not just for sleeping. It's definitely more for the partying and spending money. Okay, so the three of you guys are heading towards the Halls of Justice solo, or not solo, together.
I would assume together.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you're heading along the streets, why don't you roll a d20? No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's never winter. It's very safe. You guys are having no problem navigating. Occasionally when you do, find a T intersection and you're like, oh, which way do I go? Like there are people around who will help you. Because you guys look relatively like upstanding citizens who look like them. a half elf and a human, and they fit in very well. The Dragonborn gets a couple side eyes and stuff like that, but majority of the people just kind of ignore him because it's a large enough city that they've seen stuff like this before. So you reach the Halls of Justice, the district, which is called the Halls of Justice. And you sort of crest a hill and you come over, and down below you see this sprawled out in front of you. And Dorn, you immediately recognize the symbol in the top of that central building as a symbol of Tyr. You have a feeling it's the temple.
That's my thought. I'm going to head right there.
Okay, great. So at the door, you are stopped by a heavily armored and armed paladin. It says, "Halt. What do you wish from this temple of Tyr?"
Hello, my fellow paladin. I am here to take my oath of devotion.
Fellow paladin?
Well, I am hoping to become part of the ranks of paladin.
You may address me as Lord Kevgion Arbor Shate.
That is a hell of a name. Yes, my lord. Let's see.
My friends call me Shate,
Shate.
but you're not my friend.
Shate.
Lord Shake?
I don't believe you're there, Ramo.
Isn't he there?
I'm sorry. I guess I'm like metagaming.
Well, I assume when Dorn said that's where I go, he went off alone. Am I wrong?
That's
Did
what I
the other
thought
two
too.
follow?
Yeah, I know. I'm just acting out as John. Sorry.
Okay.
y-
Yes, John. It's Lord Shate.
You want to spell Shate for me?
Shat. But that's only his nickname. It's Kevgion, Kevgeon, Arbor, Arbor, Shate.
Kevin.
Kevgion.
So is it Shate or is it Shat?
It's Shate.
Clearly,
All
there's some Irish running around here.
Something.
I'll say, excuse me.
Paladin of Tyr. He interrupts you as you start to speak.
Excuse me, Lord Shate. Please forgive my fuck. Anyways, I am.
Apparently, you have a stuttering problem, young sir. You said you were here to take your oath.
Yes, I am. I'm here to take.
Welcome. We always accept new cannon fodder. Cannons haven't been invented yet, I don't think, so we're going to reset that as
Acronym.
dragon fodder. Well, speak up, son.
I'm here to take the oath.
These people.
Can you direct me?
You don't know the ways of Neverwinter, do you? You've never been to a civilized town before. Ugh, backwater hooligans. Do you have the specific tithing to take your oath?
And how much is the tithing?
25 gold, but of course.
Yes, I do.
Well, hand it over.
And Neverwinter's rude.
Yeah. I'm not giving him 25 gold.
Okay. So, would you like to make a persuasion check to persuade him not to, or what do you want to do?
Thinking about it.
Well, sir, you said you had it. The
I-
tithing to fear.
Yes, and so is he just manning the door like other people inside that that sound like they're moving around or?
The doors are heavy and they're wooden and they're closed. They're very large doors. They're well made, so although
Yeah.
they are very heavy and large, they open and close very easily. But they're for sure they're like 10-foot tall doors by probably about 6 or 7 feet, and they're a double door, so it's like probably 15 feet wide total by 10 feet high, double opening door, leaded glass panes in the shape of the symbol Tatir in the top, but it's too high for you to see. What you do see through that, however, is you do see lights inside. And why don't you roll an intuition, whatever that's called.
Insight or perception?
Insight would probably be better.
You should ask to speak to his manager.
Well, that's pretty much where I'm going with this.
Where's your supervisor?
Fucking rolls.
You have a feeling that he's shaking you down.
Yeah.
That official tithings may be true, but you probably wouldn't give it to the guy at the door.
Yeah. I'm
Sweet, you're
and
very corrupt.
I'm gonna tell him I'm sorry, Lord Shate for was it shit?
Lurber Kevgion Arborshate, Paladin of Tyr. You will address me by my full noble name.
I'm sorry, Lord Kevgon Arbor Shate.
Kevgion.
Kevgion Arbor Shate. Your name is a handful. But
Paladin of Tyr.
Paladin of Tyr. I did not think it was appropriate for me to be giving the tithe to a glorified doorman. So
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, are you fucking serious? I'm gonna start rolling real dice. I had better luck with real dice, for fuck's sake, and even those are horrible.
He looks at you, he says, Doorman, please. It takes years to have my position.
Yes, but you're not the person who's going to be giving me my oath of devotion anyway, so I would rather give it to an official.
Well, I am official. However,
Official
you
doorman.
have passed your first test. We do not accept people who try to bribe doormen into the Temple of Tyr. You may proceed.
Thank you.
And at this point, we're going to slide over to see Casa sort of bumbling her way around, because this is not a dwarven city.
Nope.
It is not the hills that she grew up in. It is not the forests that she's used to as a druid. So she's a little out of her sorts here. So you said you were going to try to find a way to search for this information on the book, correct?
Yeah. Basically, I'm just looking for like a library, or I can start at a bookstore. So it'd probably be easiest to ask where like a merchant area or shop area is. I'll just go to a bookstore and start there.
Okay, so you're
Or like-
probably heading in the general direction as Lindahl also, to the
Okay.
main marketplace. There is a library district, so you could go there. But if you're looking for a bookstore, you would be going to the main marketplace.
Oh, well, if I can find the library district, if it's like a whole district, then I'll just ask for directions there. When we were at, because basically I would have asked when we were at that temple, the first small temple, like where I'd be going next.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, and with that, they can tell you, the old priest, he says, well, there's the library district, although I don't know much outside of the religious texts of Tyr, and I do not believe that this would help you in your search. But I'm sure when you get to the library district, you would be able to find somebody who gives you more
That's
information.
acceptable.
Would you have a tithing to Tyr?
I believe my good friend already tithes a great amount to your wonderful establishment.
Ah, but that was 1 gold for one question. Don't you have some more?
I guess here's a lovely silver for your inevitable time. Thank you.
Hmm.
And she
Small,
turns immediately walks away.
and he just grumbles, huh, small coin for small person.
Yep.
Okay, so you're on your
Uh,
way to the library district where you'll be able to find it. You got general directions, and you are a little bit, like I said, you're a little out of your depth here, so you get lost a couple times. Um, Turn down an alleyway that you thought was like a main thoroughfare and realize it's a dead end. But eventually, you make your way towards into the library district.
Generally speaking, just so I know, like what part of town is this in? Like, we're coming in from the south, and then that small temple is like what, close by?
Yeah, pretty close. And then so you're gonna go through the town and then across one of the bridges, um, and then you make it into the library district shortly after that.
Okay.
Probably about a half hour of walking.
Mhm.
But that's more because it's crowded. It's you made a couple wrong turns, etc.
She's not in a super rush. She probably actually spends like an extra 30 minutes at the bridge because to her that's like the stonework would be really fascinating.
Okay. Okay. So you're basically in the library district. You can see these grand um, buildings made of fine cut stone. They're not palatial in any way. They're definitely more along the lines of like they're more square buildings, less gaudy, less intricate detail, more sort of practical.
Mhm.
So what would you like to do? And then there's street carts outside, sort of all peddling different types of books.
Just books in general.
Yeah, there's one lady who's selling apothecary books along with some small apothecary supplies, but mainly the books. There's a guy in wizard clothing, saying that he's selling magic books. There's a chef-looking fella. He's selling cookbooks. And then you even see somebody who's sort of dressed like some of the guys that you run with. And um, he is sort of selling adventuring books, talking about, buy my books and you'll never be lost in Faerun again, stuff like that.
Okay, well, I think she would be interested in getting like a map and checking, kind of like do a roll to see if I can find any good books for, well, let me check my skills. I have a +4 medicine, so I would actually be interested in apothecary books and, yeah, I guess spell books to see if there's anything worthwhile. Because can you learn spells that aren't part of like your natural, like druid, whatever?
Yeah, if it's a scroll, you can either learn it or you can like burn it. Like you can read it once and it burns up, or you can spend some time to learn it.
Yeah. So yeah, if there's a shop that would have spells, I guess I'd be looking for any spells that are not druid.
Okay, so yeah, directly. This is less of a market district than the market district is. It's really the district of knowledge.
Right.
and libraries. But there are those 4 carts, so you can head over to the wizard.
All right. What do I need to roll for that? See if I find it. Just have to have a conversation.
Yeah, you can just go up and start talking to him and ask him what you're looking for. And
Yeah, I think I'll actually start with the apothecary one and just
Okay.
see. You know, I don't know exactly enough about potions and whatnot, but my character has a +4 on that, so I'm assuming she would know enough to ask like how to get basically some, as high level as she can get apothecary spell or ingredient or whatever books.
okay, so you talk to the woman and she says, "Oh well, honey, I don't have any spells. You'd have to talk to the wizard over there. Although I don't know how many people trust him around here. Um, Never see any of his spells work, to be honest. But that's probably because magic isn't allowed in Neverwinter, and he makes sure that you know of it. So many people are probably far away before they attempt to try his spell. However, I have some books on herbal remedies, um, anti-poison. I don't have any of the poison. I really I try not to sell to the bad folk who are trying to use poisons. However, there are ways to find things like that around if you're absolutely necessary for it. And then I have some other basic potises and potion books here that you can thumb through. But is it anything specific you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the chance that you might have potion books for healing or general use for an adventurer such as myself.
Hmm.
And anti-poison would actually be, or antidote would actually be something very interesting to me to have those. But I
It's not an-
obviously don't have the biggest person in the world because I'm a very small person, so I don't have very much to speak for it.
Hmm. So my health
Except for maybe one or two.
potions, my health potion
Sorry.
book is your basic one. Basically she tells you it's basically like a cure wounds spell.
Mhm.
But it's a low level health potion.
Mhm.
Used once. You would have to study it very carefully over the period of about 40 hours in order to learn it and then be able to create it and have you know, you would have to have all the ingredients.
Yeah, so I think that's the only thing I'd want to know is how rare are these ingredients? Because if they're pretty easy to come by, then it would be worth it for you to learn it.
She says that if you're in the right place, you can get them, but they come from different regions, so it would take a few days to collect them. If you were to buy them, they would cost you a decent amount of money because they are well known for their healing properties.
So like one spell, like the components for one health potion would cost like what ish?
Um, Probably slightly cheaper than a regular health potion would cost you in a store. I don't know the exact. Um, let's see. I mean, basically, like around, in and around the 25 gold point mark, depending on how much, you know, how many potions somebody has, you might be able to get like 2 for 45 or something like that. So,
Okay. And then what's she willing to sell that, like the ability to take that home and learn, or rent it or borrow it or whatever,
Oh,
enough
this
to learn it?
book is 50 gold.
Okay. So,
If you're looking for healing, I do have this nice little kit here for 5 gold. If 50 is, I see you blushed when I said 50, so I assume you're relatively new at this and you don't have all the money in the world. But I have a
I'm on
healing.
a strict budget. So.
What's that?
I'm on a very strict budget.
Yes, yes. That's fine. So my healing kit is 5 gold. And it comes with,
What sort of
you know,
capabilities
some
does it enable?
What's that?
What sort of capabilities does it enable?
Oh, well, this leather pouch contains bandages, salves, and splints. It has 10 uses approximately, you know, depending on your size. And as an action, you can expend 1 use of the kit to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make wisdom checks, medicine checks.
Yeah, this sounds like it would be within my budget, so that would be very nice.
Okay, so that's 5 gold, and you pay her, and she's like, "Oh, much obliged. If you do come by more money and you want to come back, I would be happy to. I would be happy to put the book on, you know, on the side for you, unless of course somebody else wants it."
Yeah, I don't. I'm not exactly sure there. Why don't you just hold on to it for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and I give her
What's your name?
Casa Stoneheart.
Ah, very nice. She writes down your name, and she writes like dwarf underneath it, and she puts it over to the side. She goes, "You're gonna be right over to the side here, unless somebody else wants to purchase it and has the money."
Okay, and then so since she's also learned that like a spell book is probably going to be about 50 gold, she doesn't even bother going to the spell guy.
Yeah.
And I would just I just head for the library and see what it takes to get in there and start researching.
Okay. There are 3 large buildings. Sort of you enter this courtyard, and there's one on the left, one in the middle, and one on the right.
Is there any labeling?
There are some symbols on them. The one in the middle is the symbol of Tyr, which I'm assuming you know because you were at the church right before that. The one on the right is the picture of a book and a scroll. And then the one on the left is of a hammer, what looks like a pipe or a spear, and a like a chalice.
Yeah, so I think I would start there.
Okay. So you go over there and you realize that this is the library of weaponry and tool artisan craftsmen. So it's sort of both. It's for crafts people and for weaponry.
Would they? So I guess I would just ask, or be like, I'm doing some research on the Lost Mines of Phandalin. Is it more appropriate to be looking in your archives or across the way at the general history?
Okay, and so as you walk in, you walk up to a about a 3.5 foot tall desk, and it's one of these large desks like you would have in a library, and you see a dwarf poking his head over. Lost Mines of Phandalin, you say?
Yeah.
Certainly we might have something, although there wasn't much written down about that. The folks who ran it were very secretive. Here, let me see if I can assist you. And he sort of, like, he had been poking his head over the counter, and then all of a sudden you see it disappear. So you have a feeling he was standing on a stool of some sort behind the counter to look over it. And then he comes around from the other side. He's like, "Follow me, lass. Ah, it's quite a fetching beard you have."
Yes, I had to get the pigment for this little strand here from a very particular plant, which I'll tell you about on the day.
Okay, that's okay. We have dyes in Neverwinter. We don't necessarily need to pick our own plants. Thank you, though. And so he kind of waddles off, and he's, expecting you to follow him.
Yeah, I follow.
So he heads over to basically what is like the Dewey Decimal System of the olden days, and it's just a bunch of heavy scrolls that like unroll and then re-roll, unroll and re-roll, and so he's going through them, lets it go, going through it, rolls it back up, going through it. Ah, here we go. Yes, okay. So if you go to the second floor, on the left-hand side, in aisle number 6, on shelves number 4 through 6, you should find information about that region. I don't know exactly what you'll find, but you'll have to look through a few books.
And then, because I would have had that book with me for a while, so I would have been looking at it, I guess, when I wasn't. No, we really haven't had time yet. So I probably looked at it for like an hour randomly somewhere here or there.
Yeah, so you can go. You can go up there and use those books as references, and there are tables that you can use to study it.
And I don't think I have any paper, so I just have bought some from one of the guys out the carts or whatever.
Yeah, you can probably buy some from the library.
Okay. All right, so I guess I searched or however that works.
Okay. All right, so Lindahl, slide over to you. What are you doing?
Well, I start heading from the small temple, walking down the street, and rather than having asked the gentleman who wants tithes, I just meet a stranger on this street and say, "Sir, can you tell me where the market district is?"
Okay. He goes, yeah, of course. You just head north and, you veer to your right a little bit. And, if you go to the left, you'll find the docks, which they have some shops there. But if you go to the right, that's where you'll find the market district. They're pretty close by.
So I head off in this direction, veering right,
Okay.
and hopefully come upon the market district.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's it seems like this, along with many other places that you've visited, are built in a way that funnels people to the market. Because that's how they make their money. Neverwinter's a little bit bigger than that, so it's not the only place it goes to, but you definitely find it pretty quickly.
Yes, and then I again go up to, I assume there are carts along the street?
Yep, there's plenty of carts all around for all sorts of things. So what are you looking for?
And I go up to the first cart and say, "Sir, are there venues that feature amateur musicians where I might be able to display my skills?"
Well, let me think. What sort of instrument do you play?
I have a drum, and I have a flute, is it? And I have a flute. And I have been told by the fine people of Fandolin that my playing is quite good.
It's Fandelver.
Huh? And
Wait, no, it's Fandolin, right? It's what is it? Yeah. it's Fandolin.
Delver is Lost Mines, I
Yeah,
think.
my bad. So, Paul, the one that you were talking about was Fandelver, right? Is the book
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, my bad. Got a little confused.
so I would like to see how I am accepted in such a sophisticated town as Neverwinter.
Okay, well, there's a couple that I can suggest. You could either head down to the Driftwood Tavern, which is a fine drinking establishment. That is located over in Protector's Enclave on Coriol Street near the city gate. Or you can head to the Broken Crown, which is a tavern slightly outside of town.
Are either of these taverns a place where many adventurers go?
Yeah, most certainly. The Broken Crown Inn is definitely, it's slightly outside the city, so it's not as city folk driven as Driftwood Tavern is. And it's run by a dwarf over there who's Price Breaker's his name, I believe. And so he sells a bunch of, adventuring kits and minor potions to folks. So I do believe that plenty of adventurers are over there.
And they enjoy their music.
Who's to say, really?
Ah. Which one is the closer?
The Driftwood Tavern is closer. If you head back the way from which I saw you coming from, it's on it's over down near the docks. That's how it got its name, because it's Driftwood. It was put together by Driftwood.
That sounds very good. I thank you, fine sir. And I head off to the Driftwood Tavern, back where I came, and head left instead of right. And hopefully I see it along the road.
So you took a left from where you came from?
No, I
You
turned
went,
around,
yeah, and then you just
and
went
when I
straight.
went right, now I go the other way, which at this point is now on my right.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so you see it. It's you see a building that you assume is it. Yeah, it is. It is a sort of ramshackle. All the wood is different colored, different levels of decay. None of it is new. None of it looks like it was ever made new. So you assume that is it.
Okay, so I walk up to the door and step in.
Okay, so yeah, you see it's a bar. There's not many patrons here now. It's still pretty early. It's probably only like 10 in the morning at the latest, because you guys fought those monsters like at the break of day. The last monsters were like at 5 in the morning. So then you made your way like a very short way to Neverwinter, and then you're here now. So
Was it closer to 9 o'clock or closer to noon?
it's about 10.
Okay. So,
I mean, there are some patrons, and there's a bartender.
okay. And so I walk up to the bartender
Okay.
and say, I am told that you might be interested in having an amateur musician play here. I've been very well received in Fandolin,
Huh.
and I'm hoping
Where's Fandolin?
Fandolin is to the south and somewhat to the east. It's not a large town, certainly nowhere near as sophisticated.
What do you play?
Never mind. I play a flute and a drum.
I already have a flute player. What was the other thing?
A drum?
What kind of drum?
A small drum. I shall show it to you here. I pull it out from under my robes.
Play something for me.
Okay, very good. Now, do I do a roll here of some sort like I did in...
Yeah, you can do a, oh, I forget what it's called. Sorry. It's, no, what is it?
performance?
Performance roll, yes, thank you. Yep.
All right.
Oh, that was quite awful.
No, sir. No, sir. I am lucky.
Terrible, just terrible.
And since I am lucky,
Okay. Try again. Okay, second time around wasn't so bad. Now, maybe if you had some spoken word to go along with it, we might be able to find something for you on, say, like a Tuesday night.
a Tuesday night I think would be fine.
Good, because it's my worst night.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
At least you have a good attitude about your terrible musicianing.
Sir, I have many tales of adventuring and of fighting red brands who were terrorizing the town of Fenland.
Oh.
I also have tales of finding Elsa,
Mm.
my sweetheart.
Oh. I'm sure this is going to go over really well with my customers. Well, come on back on next Tuesday. I already have a juggling act for this Tuesday. So if you're in town, come see me on Monday and we'll schedule you for Tuesday.
All right, then. In the meantime, could I get a mug of ale?
Yes, of course.
How much would that be?
He slides it over to you. He's like, you're only having the one?
Well, I am committed with friends to meet them very shortly, so I should only have the one.
He knows that you don't have to meet your friends soon.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, your friends. Right. Okay.
2-for-1 special.
Well, it is early in the morning.
Exactly. You have plenty of time to drink more. 1 mug, 4 copper.
2 mugs would be 7 copper.
No. A gallon for 2 silver. It comes in your own complimentary gallon jug.
Well, in which case,
Slightly used.
yeah, in which case I would think that I would just take a single, and here are the 4 copper.
Okay. Why, thank you. Stick around if you feel it to be part of your wheelhouse. See the rest of my customers. Maybe meet them before you come in here with your adventuring stories and drumbeat. Something about mom's spaghetti or something.
I get it.
Thank you. All right. So,
As he leaves,
well, he doesn't leave.
as he walks away,
No, he's the bartender. He's standing behind the bar.
yes, I know, but he has to turn to get my mead.
He's already given it to you.
Okay.
You trying to pick his pocket or
I
something?
was looking to take his pocket.
All right. So eventually he turns to go off to serve another customer. So are you utilizing your new skill for this, or are you just trying to...
No, I'm using my pre-existing skill. Last time I tried pocketing something, did not succeed. But you have to keep trying.
Okay. So roll, a sleight of hand check.
Oh,
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how much did I get from his pocket?
Let's see.
You got a button and some lint.
a lock of hair.
You got 66 copper in the form of 1 silver and 66 copper, or 16 copper, right? Is that the right math on that? Silver is 50 copper,
I thought
isn't it?
silver was 10. I thought it was 10, multiples of 10 until you get to...
So maybe...
Because Electrum is 10 too.
Yeah, 100 copper equals 1 gold, and 10 silver
Right.
equals 1 gold. So yeah,
Yeah, so, all right, so it's 6.
Metric.
So it's 6 silver and 6 copper then.
Okay.
Not bad.
So I did well here.
Okay, so now we're gonna shift back
Oh,
over.
wait.
Yeah, no. The DM says we're shifting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to patron.
Well, yeah.
Next to the bar.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Marty wants to get his sword at some point too, but I shifted it and he didn't complain. This is how the game works.
He should have.
Yeah, well. So now we shift over to Ramo and Dinar, who have watched Dorn walk away and get to the doors of his temple and sort of have a conversation, although you guys are too far away to hear what's going on. And then eventually, after some back and forth with the glorified doorman, he goes inside. So you guys are in the Hall of Justice area.
can we see the Lord's Alliance crest from where we're standing?
No.
All right.
You would probably have to walk. So you're you kind of stayed up at the top of the hill of the entrance of this area, and you see that it goes down into the left into a circle around this temple to Tyr. And so there's large buildings on multiple areas. This is like a kind of like a five corners type situation where there's on each corner there's a very large building, and then in some of the open spaces there's smaller tent type situations, like a bazaar almost.
Okay.
So all sorts of things are going on here.
All right. So hey, Dinar, let's take a walk around this five corners type area and see if we can't find the Lord's Alliance outpost.
Okay. So as you're walking around, you see different buildings of different manner. They're built in a relatively same style. However, some are more flashy than others. And you do come to a relatively basic but very well crafted building. You can tell all the materials are top of the line, but it's not extravagant in any way. But it also looks
Or
very
eight.
easy to defend. Arrow slits in the walls. You can tell that even on the roofs there's parapets that are well disguised, but still parapets, and you assume that there's probably folks up there. And this is the Lord's Allegiance Hall.
Is there a doorman, or do we have to knock to get someone?
There are 2 sentries outside, full plate armor, helms, shields with the symbol of the Lord's Alliance on them.
Cool. So we approach these sentries and, greet them. What's up, guys?
Hail!
Hail? Hail.
Hell.
My name's Romo. This is my mate, Dinar. We're traveling adventurers, and we came from a small town where there was a Lord's Alliance outpost, and we wanted to come here and see if you guys had any work and maybe get some information.
Greetings, half-elf and dragonborn. What might we call you?
I'm Romo, and this is Dinar.
Pleased, I assume. One
We are
moment.
pleased.
And he turns and goes inside. The other guy slides over to take up the middle position.
To block the door.
Yeah. And just stands there like he's part of the Royal Guard in England, just very,
Yeah.
not really even paying you any attention. Obviously knows you're there, stopping you from entering, but a couple minutes pass by, and the first sentry comes back, and as he's coming out, the quiet one slides to the side. Like, they've done this many times before. It's very precise. It's not in any way offensive or anything. It's just this is what they do. They announce,
Protocol.
yeah, like they announce your presence, and then like this is how it happens. So he comes back. He goes, "Good Sir Ramo and Dinar, we are pleased to make your acquaintance. However, we have no work, and we do not know anything of you. Do you have word from Lord Sildar?"
Lord Sildar. Of course. We saved that guy's life. He's well in Phandalin.
Good. And what of Lord Albrecht?
Well, that's another matter. Is there perhaps someone who we could speak to in private about this?
At this time, no. Do you have any communications from Lord Sildar or Lord Albrecht for the commander?
Shit, I don't think so. No, I don't believe we have any written communication.
Well, I apologize. The Lord's Alliance commander is highly sought after and is booked solid, if you understand my meaning. We will send an envoy.
And I totally understand that, Mr. Guard. We're a bunch of nobodies coming here. I get that. However, there is something I think of an urgent matter that we should share with your commander regarding Lord Albrecht, but dare I say more out in public.
Please write us an official communication and it will be passed along. Unfortunately, the commander's time is precious.
Wouldn't he have like a seal or something from Sildar so that we can get past this stuff?
Did you get one?
I don't think so.
I'm-
I don't remember getting anything like that. I don't know if you guys ever had something.
No, we didn't talk about it, but assuming Sildar would have given something for us to take back.
Sildar had sent, or was going to send, the copy off.
Yes. Was that going to Neverwinter?
Yes. However,
Did
you
we
guys
have
are
carried that?
adventurers. No, you did not carry it. You guys are adventurers and made it here most likely faster than the commoner that he sent with word.
Would his note have made reference to us?
Probably. You're not sure. I mean, you never know if he would have referenced you by name or if he would have just said that he, had,
Informants kind of thing?
yeah, he had, touched base with the town of Phandalin and he had conscripted a group of adventurers. Actually, knowing him, you have a feeling he probably didn't use your names, even if this letter had got there by now.
Yeah. Taking all the glory for himself.
We're easy to describe.
It's true, but you're not
We
necessary.
didn't have a name at that time, so that could be part of the problem.
Yeah, I highly doubt he's one to talk about Mbatra.
Let's ask the Sentry Guard whether there's a spot where we could, I guess, procure some horses for transportation.
Certainly. At the main gate, you would be able to find the stables, and you will be able to take your choice of many horses.
You know what kind of rates they have on these horses? Is it by the furlong or like?
Yeah, I mean,
Doran gets an all units of measurement joke. Nailed it.
so he describes to you, he says, you can get a average horse that'll be able to do your bidding for 50 gold.
Is that to
That's not
buy?
bad.
And you could get a good horse for 75 gold. And then you would have to get a saddle, of course, which would, a riding saddle would probably run you 10 gold. Saddlebags would run you another 4 gold. A sled would run you 20 gold. A wagon would run you 35 gold.
All right.
He's just throwing out numbers at you, like left and right. Like, apparently he knows somebody down at the stable and he probably gets a kickback. He's like really trying to sell it.
Everybody knows somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
If we were to go to the stable, whose name should we use? Who referenced you? Now you got to come up with a name.
I know, right? Like,
Orange Cat Jr.
Can't just be Robert, huh?
what, Robert?
Robert?
No. That's what Dan said. I was laughing at it.
Bobby?
No. So this gentleman is a human. He's wearing all of the stuff that he should to look good and all, but you can tell he's a little uncomfortable in it. So like the plate armor that he's wearing,
It's a little too tight.
no, it's almost like he like fidgets in it a little bit. Like you have a feeling he probably would be more comfortable without the plate armor on. And so he says to you, he goes, "Tell them that Iron Hand, the fighter, sent you." And he got all proud about that. Ian, I-A-N.
Oh, I-A-M-H-A-N-D.
Yin or Iron?
Huh?
Yin or Iron?
Ian.
Okay.
Iron.
And then he says, "Yes, Iron Hand Loyalar."
Loyal Lar. Got it. Dinar, do you have any questions for these fine gentlemen here guarding the Lord's Alliance fortress?
Nah, I don't want to waste my time.
Gotcha, friend. Just one last thing, Mr. Iron Hand, before we go. Just out of curiosity, does a symbol of a black spider mean anything to you?
No, not that I can think of.
What about your friend?
He looks over to the right. The other guy just goes, barely moving his head, just, sorry, fella. Well, Sir Ramo, Sir Dinar, thank you. And we wait for your written
Correspondence?
correspondence, whatever, letter.
Man, fucking...
Is writing unusual for people in this world?
No. No, it's probably I don't know, it's probably less than 50-50, probably like 40-60, maybe 30-70 even. But like in Neverwinter, in the Halls of Justice, like writing is like, in order to get into the Lord's Alliance or some of the other guilds, a letter of not initiation, but a letter of introduction is definitely helpful if it's the first time you're going there. So.
Good to know. One last thing, Iron Hands. Where might we find like a blacksmith and maybe an armory?
Head east of the market and west of the docks. You'll find the smithy over there. In the market itself, you will find plenty of shops to suit yourself with arms and armor, if you have the gold.
Thank you. Dinar, anything?
No, I'm good.
All right. We
Good
shall
to see 'em.
send written correspondence post haste. Godspeed.
You will find me here, and I will take it to the commander.
Excelsior.
Yeah, he doesn't know what I'm. What? Okay, so Dorn, you walk in through the doorway, and you, for such a small exterior, the interior is very nice, and there's light shining from the ceiling. What you realize is the glass symbol of Tyr that was at the top of this structure on two sides is also a skylight.
Mm-hmm.
And the light is coming down onto a very beautiful marble floor with the symbol of Tyr in a circle directly under the circular skylight. Inside this building, it is just gilded with gold detail work, and the columns are pure marble, and the banners are of the finest Persian rug type material, and it's incredible, comparatively speaking to the small temple that the commoners go to. This is clearly less about daily or weekly masses and more about high ceremonies.
Okay.
You're back.
I'm going to need to find a priest or another paladin to inquire about the Oath of Devotion, or taking the oath.
Yes. So as you walk in, your boots are hitting the ground very hard, and you are making quite a commotion. Let's see. And then to your right, you hear somewhat of a shuffling. And you see a elderly man come over to you wearing robes, very fine, bright white. It's sort of like an eggshell white with gold trim. And you can tell he is a priest.
Okay.
So he comes over and he says, "Oh, I see you made it past the first test."
Okay. I'm just gonna ask him straight up. Tell him I'm here for my paladin's oath of devotion to join the paladin order.
Yes, that is why many come. And you believe you are ready
I do.
to serve Tyr forever.
That is my plan. My life for Tyr.
Very
Not higher.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
My
What?
life here.
Oh, yeah.
Darkon.
So he says, "Welcome, Master
Dorn, Greycastle.
Master Greycastle. Welcome. We do appreciate new paladins. As you know, it's not so easy to get those of the true good to join our side anymore. It is more about the money for the young people these days. What brings you to serve Tyr?"
I was saved by Tyr.
Oh,
The priests of Tyr, after finding me near death, brought me to their temple, and Tyr heard their prayers and allowed me to pledge myself to him in exchange for my life.
ah. And which temple was this? Here in Neverwinter?
Hold on a second, I gotta look that up. My backstory, where is it?
Not on your character sheet, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm using an entirely different character sheet setup than the normal one. I bet it's an email. I was part of. Let's see. I joined the military for the Royal Infantry in Duramar at a much younger age than I am now, and was mortally wounded while out on patrol. It doesn't say my backstory, but I'm going to assume that the temple was near Doramar. I mean, my character would know where it was, but...
Yes, a very pious area. Whoa now. Okay, so he says, good, not corrupted by the politics of Neverwinter religion. I like that. Have you chosen your oath?
I have.
What shall it be, my son?
I am taking the oath of devotion.
very nice. That is very, very good. All right. So, have you chosen your sacred weapon?
My purpose is for protection, so I'm choosing the sword and shield.
Classic. Can't go wrong with that. And so he says, he sort of looks around you. Then he walks in a circle around you. He goes, why, young Greycastle, this weaponry will not do for a paladin of Tyr. Have you thought of what your sword and shield will look like?
The sword and shield that I would like to carry would be something representative of Tyr. Something that will allow me to better serve him in serving justice.
Come with me. And so he walks away, and he sort of walks off to the right between two of the columns. He doesn't walk all the way to the center of the temple where the light is shining down. So he walks like a few columns before that off to the right, and then into a little area that has a portcullis that's drawn up, and it then leads down a small set of stairs. And he says, the temple has a small armory. If you would like to choose one of our items, we would be able to put it on a rent-a-center type deal for you.
Rent to own?
Yes, rent to own. Each time you pass back through Neverwinter, throughout your questing days, you come and you make your payment. If you feel that you're not going to be through Neverwinter within many months, we suggest that you make payments to some of our outer branches who can then send it in to us. Because as you know, these weapons are quite more expensive than the ones you would find. Now, of course, you get what the oafs outside would call a discount, but, you know, it's not going to be perfect. So he unlocks this door and walks in, and this is a very fine armory. So what he had called, few items, there are racks and racks of long swords, racks and racks of short swords. There are spears, there are kite shields, there are round shields, there are halberds, there are pikes, there is almost everything you can imagine. There's even a cat o' nine tails, which you think is kind of odd because you've never seen a paladin, with the cat o' nine tails. So he walks you over to the swords and he says, here, what do you think of this one? And he, surprisingly for like a 75-year-old man, he's just like whipping this like 20-pound sword around, like checking the weight and balance and like just... And then he does like the quick, I don't know if anybody watched Game of Thrones the other night where like he spins the sword and like hands it over. Does that sort of move like...
Cool move.
I like it.
I will accept the sword and inspect it.
Yeah, it's like a +1 long sword. As soon as your hand touches it, it emanates a glow. But then it goes away. And he sort of snickers. He goes, Oh, you'll get the hang of it.
Get the hang of what? Exactly.
And so he takes the sword back and he's whipping it around, and then he puts it straight up, like just right in front of, directly in between the two of you. And the brightest light shines into your face, emanating off of the sword.
Sweet.
And then he does a couple more moves. You're partially blinded by this because it's a very small, it's a very large armory per se when you think about like the last armory that you guys were in.
Yeah.
But it's still a small, relatively dark room. And there's only maybe like one or two candles on. He kind of knows this place really well. So you were adjusted to dim vision, and now like a very bright light occurs. And the entire room is bathed in bright light. And so he then stops it, and he goes, he keeps swinging it a little bit, and then he does the little spin again and hands it back. He goes, "You'll understand how to use it in good time."
Well, thank you. I very much appreciate this.
And so basically what you understand of that is that was the channeled divinity off of the sword. And that is what assists it. And he says, "Master Greycastle, will this suffice? Is the waiting proper? I do take myself as a good judge of sword to owner."
From the way you handled the sword, I will trust your instincts.
Well, I haven't always been wearing the robes.
Well, you sir definitely know your way around weaponry.
Well, I am Lord Krulanan, Tiger Soul of many battles.
Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down.
So it's Krulanan,
Hold on a second.
C-R-U.
C-R-U.
L-A-N-N-A-N. Tiger Soul.
Like soul.
Yes,
Yeah.
as in internal human soul, not like the sole of your foot.
Of many battles.
Of many battles. You assume that's like his moniker that it was assigned to him.
Yep.
Not everybody has that sort of moniker after their name, and especially being able to say it about themselves. Not everybody uses. So he kind of threw that in there just to sort of let you know who you were talking to.
And what perhaps would be the required tithe for owning such a fine weapon?
That's a good question. I'll have to figure that out. For now, don't worry about it. We will send you a invoice.
All right.
And of course, you need a shield. Am I correct?
I would
In assuming?
I would love a better shield.
I see.
And the shield has been sturdy and very reliable as of right now, but it's, as you've seen, has gone through some wear and tear.
Okay. So your new shield will be relatively basic. It doesn't have any super properties or anything like that, but it is much nicer than the one that you have now. So it's going to cost about twice as much as your current shield costs. So that's about 20 gold.
Okay.
And your longsword, it's a longsword, right?
Correct.
All right. I'm going to have to sort of do a little bit more research on that to figure out exactly what it's going to cost you. But it's not going to be super cheap. He says, If you would like to leave a starting tithe of whatever you feel fit um, for the weaponry, I would be happy to accept it. However, do not feel obligated. I know that we all started somewhere, even I.
I serve the god tier, and I will be happy to give what little I can. I will hand him 5 gold as the starter payment for the sword, and the 20 gold for the shield, which will leave
Okay.
me with a total of 7 gold left. Yay!
Yeah, you were really generous to the other guy.
Oh, well,
He wasn't expecting that.
Are these special sword and shield combo gonna have any like bonuses on them?
Yeah, so his sword has a +1 bonus for up to a minimum, up to 1 minute, right? You add your charisma modifier to your attack roll made with that weapon, so the minimum bonus is a +1.
yeah, it's channel divinity allows me to add my charisma modifier to my attack rolls made with the weapon. Also emits a
Right.
bright light in
Okay.
a 20-foot radius, and a dim light 20 feet beyond that.
But it's not. It's the not the sword itself. It's the sword combined with your channel divinity.
Specifically, yeah, but as you know, you never know. As he owns the sword longer, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, he's polishing it and polishing it and polishing it, and then it like.
Don't polish it too much.
So Zach, is this a +1 sword already, or is this just a normal long sword?
It is a +1 sword already. Yeah, this is it's not like super rare or anything.
No.
It doesn't have any magical properties per se. But previously your channel divinity was sort of just coming off of yourself.
Yep.
And it was emitting from you, whereas this is specifically made and has been handled by priests and paladins of Tyr in the past so much that it has become a conduit to your divinity.
Yep. I will ask the priest if he would like also a donation of much simpler, not fine quality weaponry that the church could sell, because I have some additional equipment on me that I no longer need that I took for selling.
No, young man, just go sell that at the markets or down by the armories, and you won't get the best prices for it, as there is a lot of weaponry in the area. However, you might be able to make up half of what it was worth when you originally purchased it. Unfortunately, buying and selling in large cities like this, it's not, you don't get like 100% back on your dollar, or even, sometimes you don't even get 50 depending on where you're at.
Oh, you know what? Actually, we have an armory back in Phandalin that I could add these weapons to.
You do have that.
And I'm going to spend the next, 2 hours or however long is appropriate in prayer to Tyr.
Oh yeah, no, you're not done. He now that you have your weapon, he brings you back upstairs, and he asks you to strip your armor.
Yep.
And follow him. Take the sword and the shield, the new one, not the old ones.
Yep.
And he says, "Come into the light." And now it's probably around noon. You've already spent a good hour having the conversation with the guy outside, and then having the conversation and picking out your sword and stuff like that. So he says, "Let the light of Tyr bathe over you."
I will step into the light.
He says, Just feel it. Embrace your new weaponry.
I'm going to hold the shield and the sword. So the sword in my right hand, shield in my left. Sort of have them overlapping each other with my head down in prayer.
Good. Says, repeat after me, my son. You are strong of will and spirit.
You're strong of will and spirit.
I shall stay death from taking your soul.
I shall stay death from taking your soul.
Oh, wait, no, my bad. This is what he's saying to you.
Oh,
So before he says, repeat after me, I apologize. My bad, guys. I've got quotes in the wrong places. So he says, he goes, you are strong of will and spirit. I shall stay death from taking your soul and allow you to bring justice to those who brought you pain. I ask in return that you devote yourself to my cause and take up the sword and shield in my name. And then he stops and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, you have heard these words before, my son. Have you not?
I have.
And what were the tenets? Tenets, not tenants.
Tenets. Tenets of devotion.
Of your oath.
Tenets are.
Do you recall, or do you want to repeat after him?
No, I can recall.
Okay.
I have all this information written down. So, honesty. Don't lie or cheat. Let your word be your promise. Courage. Never fear to act, though caution is wise. Compassion. Aid others, protect the weak, and punish those who threaten them. Show mercy to your foes, but temper it with wisdom. Honor. Treat others with fairness, and let your honorable deeds be an example to them. Do as much good as possible while causing the least amount of harm. And duty. Be responsible for your actions and their consequences. Protect those entrusted to your care, and obey those who have just authority over you.
With this oath spoken to Tyr, you shall become his paladin. And at this moment, you have this, like, rush of emotion, of memories, of things you want to do. Like, everything inside you sort of comes out and goes back in, and then your head snaps up, almost as if you're not doing it yourself, towards the light, and you utter the words, Tyr, justice shall be served. And it's almost as if you didn't say it. It was just part of this oath has happened, and you're standing there, and as you're sort of part of this, right, you snap out of it. And from far away in the opposite corner of the room, Krulanan comes shuffling back over to you. But he had been right next to you a second ago.
Okay.
So he says, how was it, my son?
Spiritual experience.
This day I remember my oath. And yours was deeper than mine. I am impressed with your level of servitude towards Tyr at this early stage.
I owe him so much.
And I am sure you will deliver. Go and spread the justice and honor. All those other things you talked about. Compassion and courage and honesty and duty. All the duty. Spread the duty.
Duty is
Out-
everywhere.
Out in this world. And so as he turns you around, make a perception check.
Are you perceiving the duty?
So much duty.
Good for the flowers.
Perception. Or go.
Oh, yeah. So you realize pretty quickly that the sunlight that had been shining directly down into your face and cascading over your whole body and shimmering off of your new, very shiny weapons is pretty much gone. It's now just like a low light that happens to be coming in from above because it's still light out, but it's not. The sun is no longer overhead. You have a feeling that you've been out for about 4 hours.
Sweet. That's quite the trance.
In this oath-taking ceremony. You know, you realize that everything that seemed to flash in and out to you was in your mind. It was quick. It happened like that. But then you also realize that the guy was halfway across the temple when you sort of snapped out of it. So it had to have taken a little longer. And now you're realizing that it was about 4 hours. So it's now about 4 in the afternoon. The sun has gone down. It's, you know, I believe we still said it's early spring. And so you're in the northern part of the continent, and I'm pretending the sun works like it does here on Earth.
One can only assume.
Right? So it's, you know, you're no longer getting that sun directly into you. You're just getting sort of the extra light. And so you head back towards the temple doors. And what do?
Well, make sure I collect my gear.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm going to thank the priest again and be on my way.
Okay. At this point, we're going to shift real quick over to Casa. Casa, at this time, you realize that what you have been doing is you had found a couple other books that you've been able to reference to the land and the geography and everything and some of the histories of that area. And utilizing the book that you're in, you feel like you have about a full understanding of about half of it. The Dwarvish tome that you had been reading about the mine of Phandelver is not fully complete. It's written in sort of, not code per se, but it's very vague in certain parts. You almost feel that the people who are writing it were writing it out of, in order to tell each other, but they didn't want it getting in the wrong hands and people knowing exactly where it was. You understand that this mine has a lot of power, and you're not sure if that means it's like a magical portal plane type thing, or if it just has so much gold, silver, mithril, gems, etc., that it's just worth that much. But for sure, you could do some more studying on this. It is now about 4 in the afternoon, and you've been there for about 4 to 5 hours, and you've gotten about halfway through the full understanding of the book.
Okay.
So
you would at least know on a map, kind of like get some basic landmarks of like a big sense of where it is.
Yeah, you understand that it's down in the area of Phandalin. You would probably still have to spend a very, very long time searching for it without getting more information on it.
All right. Would I know if it's east or south of Phandalin?
Not exactly. It's sort of the way it's described in the book. it's 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 probably described as in the mountains surrounding Phandalin, and Phandalin is on the northwest corner of the mountains, and then so basically it kind of goes off like that to the south and to the east.
Yep.
So it's in there, and then the Sword Mountains are like they kind of run directly south. Like not direct, they don't run directly south. I'm sorry, they run west to northeast, but they're way further south than Phandalin. So let me put the old map up real quick so that explain that. That's not the right one. Okay, here we go. So like where Phandalin's at, you understand from this that like the Sword Coast Mount or the Sword Mountains is what they're called, right? Are here. And then here, like they go up, and then over.
So it's somewhere along that arc there.
Yeah, like you're not sure if it's up into the mountains or if maybe it's in the foothills at the bottom of the mountains, or like it could be kind of anywhere along there. They don't. It's not a travel guide, this book.
Yeah. I mean, she's really just interested in like the history and what could be there, and because she knows that was the mining town was actually older, and and just like getting a sense of where that might be.
Yeah.
And then would you have had the chance to figure out if like Cragmaw is up? Well, we already know it's not there. It's like
you still don't. This doesn't have anything to do with that.
okay, all right, yeah.
Like Cragmaw Castle is a castle in the area, but it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the Phandelver mine.
Okay. Could she ask? I mean, I guess she would ask the guy, and also, can I try to make like a? What was I gonna do? I'm gonna try to persuade him to do something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I was gonna try to get him to give me kind of like basically come back with the knowledge from that book and from the library, and try to impress the librarian enough to like get some sort of seal of endorsement or something that I could use somewhere else. So make like a persuade roll or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. What are you trying to get again? What exactly?
Basically, like him endorsing me as a researcher and with like some sort of association with the library, so that wherever I go next, I might have more to my name than just Casa Stone Card.
Yeah, you can roll a persuasion check.
Could always get a library card.
Oh, I have -1. Can I get any sort of bonus?
No, that's your bonus. It's a -1.
Alright. Alright. And if this fails, I mean, she'd basically just try to like go endear herself to the guy. But,
I mean, but remember, Casa's kind of an asshole anyway, so...
yeah, but he's dwarf, and we're both, Arcana nuts. So we bond a little, but it doesn't go anywhere.
No, he says, oh, that I could see doing that. I could draw you up some official paperwork on one condition.
Oh, Dad, it's gonna be a date, isn't it?
Oh, please,
No,
honey.
she doesn't say that. That's just me. But she goes, yes, but what kind of conditions? That would be very helpful.
Well, we don't have that book in the library. Wouldn't you like to donate it?
This book still requires a little bit more research from me, but I would be happy to donate it once I'm finished transcribing the contents.
Very good, very good. Okay.
And
Certainly. I will get to work drawing up your paperwork, and when you finish with your book, you come back and we make an exchange.
this is most agreeable. We are going to be going to Thunder Tree, so perhaps once I pass back through from there, I'll have everything finished for you.
Ah, very good. Thunder Tree. Very, very nice place. Well, it used to be. You know, us dwarves. We have the long life.
And lovely gentleman, what is your name? It's nice to see another of our kind after all my travels with so many fucking humans. She says fucking under her breath, though.
Mm-hmm.
In Dwarvish, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. He is Adori. He says, oh, my name's Adori.
A-D-O-R-I?
Adorry.
Okay.
He goes, my last name's Goldbludgeon.
This is a nice, strong name. My pleasure to meet you.
Yes, well, I haven't done much gold mining or bludgeoning recently, but I do like to keep me eyes on the books to talk about them.
This is a passion I understand as well. Because humans and, other, what would you call them? Like, other humanoids can at times be quite boring.
Oh, 'tis true, but we live the longest lives.
This is true. Well, I bid you farewell, good sir. I hope to see you again soon.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love adding new books to my collection. Our collection.
Alright. So I guess I would just head back towards the temple.
Okay, so yeah, it's not getting dark yet, but it's like, you know, it's that like late afternoon where in a city you can't see the sun because it's blocked by the other buildings and stuff. Not that the buildings here are super high. It is though like a very like up and down city. So we'll slide over to Lindal. Lindal, it's I'm going to assume that you kept drinking and talking to commoners in the inn.
I so slowly kept my serving of mead, and I surveyed the room. A lot of city folk. Well, not a lot, because there aren't a lot of people here. Few city folk, but few just drunk. But it looks like one or two could potentially be adventurers, or possibly could have been adventurers.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
It's a perception.
Yeah, if you want to tell me what you saw.
Not much.
Yeah, what you think are adventurers are just like drunken sailors who came from the dock district and their ship doesn't sail out, you know, for a little while. But they're the basic, you know, commoners. They don't have many manners. They don't have many skills, you know. They're like level 1 characters, basically. Like, if, you know, not very skilled, you know, you can talk to them. You can tell them your story of Phandelver. Some of them think you're full of shit. Some of them are really impressed, but all in all, they're not, you know, they're just, they don't fully appreciate the storytelling.
Yeah. So, since I'm not perceiving anything easily, I just sort of take my glass, walk around the room to, you know, just greet everyone, and I asked them if they've heard of a druid named Reba.
No. None of them know what you're talking about.
Rebo.
So with that, I leave the Driftwood Tavern.
Okay. So it's probably early afternoon for you. So is there anything you wanted to do or?
Well, I then head back to the market area
Okay.
just to look and see if I see anyone in that area who might be or have been an adventurer, who might have run across Rebo, possibly been to Cragmont Castle.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
Okay? Yeah, nowhere here.
Yeah, no, like a couple people told you about Rebo the sailor. One guy told you about Rebo the priest who lives in Kalimshan, who united the Sand People against an extraplanar demon. But every time you walk away from these people who are talking to you, you have a feeling that they're laughing at you.
As I am laughing at them.
Okay, sure. What are you laughing at them for?
Ah, they are such city folk
Okay.
who have never been outside of Neverwinter.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else you want to do? I mean, that probably took you another hour or two, I would say. You made a pretty good attempt at it. Nobody knew of Cragmaw Castle. The stories that you heard of Rebo just seemed like, you know what happens when you meet somebody and they say like, oh, I went to Kansas University. And you're like, oh, you went to Kansas University? Do you know John? You know, he's like a big, tall, blonde guy. You know John, right? Like, of course, you must know John. And they're like, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know John. Uh-huh. Like, it's like, because, you know, there's 100,000 people there. So you know that one guy. So that, you know, when you're talking to these folks, you realize that it's like, that's sort of what you're getting at. There's 25,000 people in this city alone, not even including the sailors that come in and out or the travelers who go through it. And you're asking about a druid who is all over the place. So we'll slide over to Dinar and Ramo. I assume you spent the last little bit of time, or at least a little bit of the time, writing a very specific letter on who you were and how you knew what's-his-face, Sildar, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to do that. I also, you know about how long it would take a letter to go back to Phandalin? It took us, 3 days to get there as adventurers?
Yeah, as adventurers. So it would you're probably moving at about, I'd say like 150% of the travel time. So like for it to get back, it would take at least 4 days.
Couldn't we just send a raven?
I mean, do you have a raven?
I mean, is there not a raven post somewhere in this town?
I mean, this isn't.
I mean,
It's not. I know.
Come on,
It's not
DM.
Game of Thrones.
I know you watched Game of Thrones last night, and you just want Bran to like tell somebody something, but
Dude,
doesn't really.
everyone has ravens back
Brag
in the day.
said, yeah.
That's common.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look it up, but it's still going to take a while. But in the meantime,
Yeah, so we definitely do that. What I was also considering, depending on the travel time, was to send word back to Sildar You'd be like, hey, Sildar, our bad. We forgot to get a letter of introduction from you with your seal on it, so in case we bump into any more of these jabronis, we could just flash them this letter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you could absolutely do that. So, sure, like, you could probably find a Raven place, right? And they tell you that the likelihood of it getting to Phandalin is slim. They haven't sent Ravens to Phandalin in a few hundred years. So,
Damn.
you know, at this point, it's such a small settlement that there's no one there. Now, what you could potentially do, Dinar specifically, without talking to any of your other people, you could potentially try to ask around for a Zentarum. Anybody from the Zentarum. Now, it would be hard for you to prove that you're part of them at this point, and
You didn't learn the handshake?
it's
I'm just undercover being a spy right now.
right. Like, you weren't really.
I'm keeping my ears open.
You haven't been introduced to anybody in Neverwinter. If you were to go up, they would probably be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But you could try it because, you know, spy networks probably have faster ways to communicate.
Yeah, like ravens.
But it's up to you.
Not yet.
Okay, so you're
Not
not going to
releasing that yet.
So you
I got
did.
a plan.
So you did find a Raven stable, Raven pen. I don't know. What do you call those pigeon pens?
Oh, coop?
Coops. Yeah, a Raven.
It'd probably be a roost, actually.
Yeah, so exactly. A roost or a coop. You find that they explain to you that they can attempt it, but it's highly doubtful that it would make it there safely. So.
Yeah, no sense in sending a message that we don't know if we'll ever get there. And then how much to send, I don't know, like a person or...
Like crash or fall? No? Just hear things? Oh, maybe it's a... Okay. Sorry, what was that, John?
how much to send, like a person or the Pony Express?
Yeah, a horse would be more expensive, but if you were to just... you could probably find a caravan that is sending, that is heading down to Phandalin, but that probably won't leave for the next 3 days. And then, so it would get to Phandalin in about a week. And they would do that for 1 gold.
Yeah.
They would be happy to deliver a letter for 1 gold. You could entrust it in, you know, one of the little urchins or whatever, you know, the street urchins that you can find in all cities, and they usually say that they'll get it there for like
Silver.
no, usually like 5 silver. But
What?
yeah, but you understand that the way that works is one of them takes it, right?
Uh-huh.
And they get paid for it. And then they go and pay somebody else less money to take it further, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like
They just subcontract it out.
a lot. It's like, I'm going down to, you know, I'm going to go down to Waterdeep, which is south of here. On my way, if I run into somebody who's heading out to Phandalin, like, I'll pass it along. But otherwise, like, you know how this works. This is sort of one of those things that you only do if you're desperate.
Sure. And do we know how long the trek is to Thunder Tree?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the map. You get about 5 squares a day.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know if I'm looking at it, and clearly it's closer than Phandalin is to Neverwinter, but I didn't know if there was terrain or...
The terrain's going to slow you down a little bit, but not much. It'll probably take you a maximum of 2 days there, 2 days back, depending on how long you stay there, obviously.
Do we know what direction the river's flowing?
Yeah, out to the ocean. Like every river does.
Why you gotta be a wise guy?
I mean, just because it was a dumb question.
Well,
No such thing.
just to be fair,
Well, I don't-
our characters are sitting all over the river, so I can't see where the river goes. So
Oh, yeah.
Doing our Jesus thing.
I'm sorry. I thought you could move your own characters.
oh, mine, who's all the way not on top of the river.
You could ask your party to do that.
You know what? I'm just asking you to do it. Okay. Can we rent a boat? How much do they rent a boat?
Dude, we didn't even want to buy a horse. You want to rent a boat?
Well, like you gotta feed a horse like carrots and oats, and that shit needs to sleep.
Yeah, you
Like,
also
you know,
realize that we'd probably
like a
be
boat,
trying
like-
to
You just need
Yeah.
someone to paddle.
paddle
I
upstream.
mean, you could
We
potentially
might have passage on a boat.
get a boat. That being said, the max speed a boat is going to go is about 4 miles. Well, yeah, no, that would be faster than you, so that would be all right. That would. Well, it's upriver, so it'd be about 2 miles an hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would take you about a full day on a rented boat. And I am going to say, that's a good question on renting a boat. I can tell you how much buying a boat would cost.
Yeah.
How about just booking passage on a boat?
Well, that's what I'm trying to sort of figure it out. Okay, I'm working on it. Okay, it's
Just like to keep my modes of transportation, options.
yeah, no, I'm trying to kind of figure out like how I do this math.
I think a boat probably be a bad idea because going upstream.
Well, that's why I divided the mileage by 2. So I already have doubled your time. It would take 12 hours, and since it's a rented boat, they have crew. You know, not a big crew, but they have at least 2 people who would be able to either row or pull
Mhm.
up the river at about 2 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm thinking it would probably cost you all 2 gold each. So 10 gold total.
Why wouldn't we just hike it?
Well, you're not there, so you're not having this conversation.
Someday we go faster, so it's good to know
Yeah.
at least.
This is all brand new to me, so it's better to ask these questions about boats and stuff. Who knows?
It's going to take you like less than a day and a half. So if you were to march quickly, you would gain like 1 point of exhaustion like way late in the day, but you would be able to long rest right after that, so it wouldn't be a real major issue. So I would say if you guys left first thing in the morning, you would be able to get there by nightfall if you were walking.
Is that something we'd want to do, guys, or would we just want to continue the journey on the Thunder Tree? Don't we have some things we have to do there?
Well, that's where he's talking about going to.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
a day and a half.
I got you.
And if we go fast, we'd get exhaustion, but we'd get there in a day.
Yeah.
But you would get rid of your exhaustion after a long rest.
Right.
So it's like it's so close to being a 1-day trip. I wouldn't, as DM, I wouldn't really. It wouldn't be a major issue. By the way, Dan or Dinar, this is Thunder Tree.
Right. Okay.
And this is a river.
That's the river.
Hold on, let me.
Use blue.
I'm already doing it, Ramo. Oh,
This would be a great opportunity to make another Arrested Development joke, but no one watches that show, so.
yeah, sorry.
Wait, I watched that show.
Oh, wonderful. Then you probably was one of the days that you weren't here, and I made a joke about like that's why you always leave a note, and then like no one got it.
That's how you get ants. That's my favorite. Oh, that's from Archer. Never mind.
I was gonna
I
say
don't know that.
like, it's not. I know that one because I don't watch that. So anyway, the blue is
The river.
and so it would take you a slightly less time on the river. It would be a little bit safer, less rolling to find goblins or orcs or whatever, just because it's a different means of travel. But basically, you guys understand that you look for one encounter per day and one encounter per night. That's what you roll for.
Right.
I say we fight.
Yeah, I say we just get the experience. I mean,
Close enough. So yeah, all right. Those are some of my questions.
Okay. So you learn all that while you're there.
Yeah.
So Dinar, is there anything you wanted to do?
Specifically here, no.
Okay. So
No,
you're just
going
kind of
with the
tagging
crew.
along for now.
Yep.
All right. So Ramo, you think it's been a few hours now?
Yeah.
All right. So are you guys just kind of like kicking it outside the temple, like waiting?
Yeah. We got like a can we're kicking around or something.
Okay.
So just me and him.
Like Queen?
Like Queen. Oh, the band.
Yeah.
They're in the game.
I mean, I was just saying because you were kicking a can all over the place.
Is that a lyric?
Yep.
Kicking the can all over you. I got it now. I got it.
It's not that hard to get.
That wasn't the Queen song that popped into my head first.
Okay. All right. So, Lindal, you were at the marketplace. Casa is at the library district, and the other three are in the Hall of Justice area. So, Casa and Lindal, are you going to head back? And you know that they're heading to that area. Do you plan on meeting up with them there?
Yeah.
yeah, I would just meet up.
Yeah. Exactly. Just on the time. I do have to roll soon.
I was
Like-
just about to say it's kind of the perfect way to end it is to sort of everybody just meets us back up probably around like 4 or 5 p.m. And Dorn is coming out and he seems very refreshed and glowing. A little bit of a sunburn.
Just a little bit.
And we can pick up from there if everybody's good with that.
Please.
So next week back to Wednesday, if that's cool with everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you everybody for changing the night this week. It was very helpful.
Yes, sir.